Okay, so here I am training in the gym as usual. Most of my time I spend eating, sleeping, training, and teaching. Training myself and teaching others to fight in kickboxing, knife tactics, and gun tactics. So right now I'm kind of going through back and forth between the kickboxing and the knife tactics. Now I use these to practice, as I mentioned before in other videos. These are simply flutes. They're not expensive. They're just pieces of wood hollowed out with holes drilled in. I use these because I can take them anywhere, to the gym, to the park, to the studio, anywhere, and use them. Uh, they're not actual blades, obviously. They're wood. They don't cut, they don't thrust. They just go through the positions and maneuvers of a knife. And what I find is that when I do use the real blades to cut and thrust, it's very effective. It's very realistic to use these in the sense of the motion and the positioning, so that when I go transfer to the real blades, the cutting and thrusting and motion is there, and it's very smooth. It's very, I don't know how to say it. It's very replicable with these. So no, they're not real blades. They're just wood. So what I do for about an hour or so every single day is just shadow box with actual blades if I have the privacy, or I just use these. So I just move around. For about an hour or so, usually to music, and then once the music starts, then I get really animated and into it because I have no opponent, so I can just pretty much do whatever I want. You can kind of hip hop dance to it, you can ballet dance to it, you can do whatever you want to it. You can just go wild and go crazy as long as you don't stab yourself. And because these are wood, I don't have to worry about stabbing myself. So if I hit myself with the wood, I know that I'll hit myself with an actual blade, and I put that in my memory bank to be more cautious, not to make contact with my own body with these. Before, in my early start of the career, I stabbed myself a few times doing double knife tactics, double blades. So I started using these to avoid the actual damage. As I say before, the blade will do the work. It doesn't care who it cuts. The blade is non-discriminatory. It doesn't care what the object is. If it can cut it, it will cut it. So I've cut myself a couple times with the blades, so I start practicing with these. I use double hand, as before mentioned. Practice the thrust. Practice the cut, the slash. Practice changing the grip mid-swing. Also, you notice a lot of times when I train, I don't wear traditional workout clothes, or I don't wear gis or martial arts attire, because I'm pretty much doing this. Excuse me. Pretty much doing this all day until the night. So I kind of just want to be able to go and come without having to change clothes too often, or looking like I'm trying to look like I'm some kind of MMA fighter or martial arts guru. Just look like a regular dude, average dude. I just wear regular average clothes. So it's easy and convenient for me. Now, single hand is just kind of the same thing. You're just using one hand. When you're using one hand, you want to protect your other hand over the heart, because if someone does stab me in the heart area, they'll stab my hand first before it gets to my heart, depending on how long their blade is. It gives me a chance to protect my own heart, and also to protect my hand. I used to train with people from different schools, and they would say, okay, well, this is my lead hand, and they would leave their hand out like this and have their knife hand back here, and I would just whack their lead hand. Even though we're not using real blades, I knew that if that were a real blade, it would either chop their finger off, cut their wrist, slice their hand open. So I wasn't really too concerned about that lead hand. As long as I can hit it, I can cut it, I'm happy with it. Set the cut, the slice, the thrash up with the lead hand, to go for the thrust with my knife. So if their lead hand is here, I would just cut their lead hand, and some people would just keep it there. They would actually leave it there like it's okay to have it all, your fingers chopped off and your hand cut open, because they're not thinking it's a real knife. They're just thinking, oh, this is okay. It's not. You want to have your hand protected. You want to protect your body as much as possible. As I said before, and I'll say it again, defense is the hardest part. I can attack and attack and attack and attack is easy. When they start returning the attack is when I have to be very careful and very on guard. So for an hour or so, I just, every day, without fail, 6 days a week, I should say, 6 days, not every day, but 6 days a week, I just practice shadow boxing with a knife. So for an hour, that's what I do. You can do 5 minutes, you can do 10 minutes, you can do whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you want. But the reason I shadow box with a knife is because I took boxing for a couple of years, and I used to do a lot of research on boxing and fighters. And one trainer said you should shadow box until your shadow gets tired. That was for boxing. So I adopt that principle to the knife training. I shadow box with a knife until my shadow gets tired. It helps your body just be able to do the maneuvers and angles and techniques without having to think about it. It just becomes so smooth and fluid and powerful and tactical, so that when you're actually engaging, your brain just takes over without thinking. Your body takes over without having to think. You can act, you can respond, you can move, you can maneuver. And as all the good knife trainers say, you're going to get cut. You're going to get hit. You're going to get tagged. It's impossible not to, unless you're just going against someone who has absolutely zero skill or zero potential. You're going to get tagged. You're going to get cut. You're going to get hit. The thing is, when you practice, practice. That's it. Just practice. Don't worry about getting hit. Don't worry about getting cut. Don't worry about getting stabbed. Just practice.